Hello, friends. Welcome to the Philosopher's Gallery. I am Alan A. Sebastian, studying second year diploma in philosophy in Dharmaram Vidyakshetram. I am introducing before you one of the great rationalist philosophers, namely Leibniz, which I have selected from the Philosopher's Gallery in DBK Central Library, Bangalore. Gottfried Leibniz is one of the great rationalist philosophers. He was a well-known German philosopher. He is also known as a mathematician and as a political advisor. He was born on June 21st, 1646, in a place called Leipzig in Germany. He died on November 14, 1716. Leibniz was born into a pious Lutheran family. His education had a great speciality, that is, he was largely self-taught in the library of his father. Now, let us discuss about his studies and first works. He had his early studies in the Nicolai School. In 1661, he joined the University of Leipzig as a law student. During his studies there, he came to know more about the thoughts of scientists and philosophers such as Galileo, Francis Bacon, Thomas Hobbes, and René Descartes. He wished to reconcile the thoughts and teachings of these great people with the great scholastic philosopher Saint Thomas Aquinas. His first book is named as On the Principle of the Individual. This book came out from his bachelorate thesis. In this book, he emphasizes the existential value of the individual. After completing his studies in law, that is, in 1666, Leibniz applied for the degree of Doctor of Law, but he was refused because of his age. Later, the University of Altdorf accepted and awarded him the doctor's degree. Even though they offered him a professor's chair, he refused to join them. Later, one of the most distinguished German statesmen of the day elected him as the jurist. Later, he got interested in the fields of history and geology, and he turned himself into such fields. Until the end of his life, Leibniz continued his duties as historian. Now, let us have a glimpse through his works. His major work is Monadology, followed by Discourse on Metaphysics, Correspondence with Arnold, Theodicy, Correspondence with Dave Walder, Primary Truths, New Systems, on Nature Itself, New Essays on Human Understanding, and Correspondence with Des Bosses. Now, let us discuss about his most important work, Monadology. Monadology is one of his most important works. In his book, he presents the theory that the universe consists of an infinite number of substances called monads. In his book, Leibniz discusses the nature of monads and the relation of the monadic universe to God. He rejected two theories, namely materials theory and the duality theory, and thus he spoke about monads. According to Leibniz, monads are certain partless, unextended, and indivisible real beings which suffice for grounding the reality of bodies. They are not something that one could ever discover. He explains the logic of its existence as follows. It is a logical necessity that every existing complex substance must ultimately consist of real, simple elements, and he called them monads. The monad is a simple substance. The word symbol here means that it has no parts. It cannot be affected by anything external to them. Monads have no windows through which anything could come in or go out, and none of them are identical and have no way of interacting with any other monad. He also speaks about the relation between God and monads. Leibniz assumed that harmony between the monads had been pre-established by God. According to him, God is the highest monad, the monad of monads. God has arranged the order and the working of all the monads in such a way that a grand plan in his mind may be fulfilled. The world really is ordered by God. Monads work independently of all other monads according to their own inner urge. But this inner urge coincides with the realization of the one master plan in the mind of the Creator, because each monad tries to realize the same final end in the mind of the Creator. Therefore, a harmony is reached in their working. Now, we shall discuss his two major principles. The first principle is principle of sufficient reason. It says that nothing happens without a reason. Everything that exists has a sufficient reason and therefore is the best possible. And second principle, the principle of indiscernibility of identicals. The principle simply says that there cannot be two different things with all the same properties. Now, I wish to share with you about his particular ideology as well as his influence in the modern world. His ideology is based on the harmony between interest and morality. Leibniz believes that enlightened self-interest is in complete agreement with the requirements of virtue. The cornerstone of this harmony between interest and morality is metaphysics, his doctrines concerning the soul's immortality and God's governance. His influence in the modern world. His logic is helpful to understand the emergence of the present-day logic. The most significant of Leibniz's contributions to formal logic were published in the early 20th century. In conclusion, I wish to share with you some interesting facts about him. Leibniz is the one who proposed that education must be made more practical. He himself started to work on hydraulic presses, windmills, lamps, submarines, clocks, and a large number of mechanical devices. He also developed a water pump run by windmills. Leibniz is considered to be one among the creators of geology because of his hypothesis that Earth was at first molten. Thank you, friends, for kindly listening to me.